Four-star Quentin Coleman lists the Illini in his final six. Who is he? Let's find out. Locked on Illini. Let's go.
You are Locked on Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome all to another edition of Locked on Illini. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. My name is Sonny Brummer, your host here at Locked On, where I continue to provide you coverage daily. That's right, every single day of the orange and blue. I ask for nothing in return. All the information here is absolutely free. The only thing I ask for is, if you don't mind, if you hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed to the channel as we continue to have it grow. Special shout out to the Talk Illini Discord community. The link should be in the description if you're interested in joining us. We have over 300 Illini fans talking Illini sports, professional sports, everything, all day, every day. We'd love to have you. So today, I'm going to go back and shift gears back to what you guys really do love, and that's Illini basketball recruiting. And specifically, one name that popped up as I was recording yesterday's episode, and that's Quentin Coleman, a 6'3" guard out of St. Louis. Now, I want to preface by saying I know how this usually goes. The fan base, understandably, loves to see 5 stars. They love to see top 50 kids and want Illinois to be in those blue blood battles. Quentin isn't one of those guys. He's not going to necessarily show up in the top 50 of the 24/7 rankings, or heck, there's some rankings out there. I think I didn't even see him in the top 200. So I know there's a portion of this fan base, in particular in the Discord and in the comment section, who are going to roll their eyes at the idea of, here we go again, trying to get a mid-level guy instead of chasing what we should be chasing, like McDonald's All-Americans. But here's why I think when you look a little deeper into Quentin Coleman, why his recruitment actually does make a lot of sense for Illinois moving forward. Now, obviously, this happened yesterday as I was recording, and I was very honest with you. I hadn't watched any tape on the kid. I knew very little about him. So I was able to now, and I'll be honest, when it came to Ethan Brown, I thought I liked that particular recruit. I think he's going to be better than his rankings suggest. Landon Davis, I'm not quite so sure about. Quentin Coleman, I think, is a player that's going to rise when it comes to the rankings. I just think he does so many things well. He does have his flaws, which I'll get to later, but I think this is a kid that, should he decide to come to Illinois, Illini fans should be excited about. But let's talk about him real quick. Coleman's story is one of steady but undeniable growth. Just a year ago, he was playing for Southwest Illinois Jets on the EYCL circuit. Solid, but not necessarily on the radar of every high major program. Then he makes the move to the Brad Beal Elite, one of the premier AAU programs in the country, and almost overnight, his stock blows up. We're talking Peach Jam appearances, national scouts finally putting eyes on him, and suddenly 5 high major offers in the span of 2 days, including Illinois. He's since cut his list to the final 6, of which it's Illinois, Iowa, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Wake Forest, and St. Louis. So when people say, oh, he's ranked in the 100s, that's kind of outdated. Recruiting services update rankings just a couple times a year, and guys like Coleman are the classic late risers. Trust me, he's trending up, not down. So let's talk production, because numbers don't lie. At the high school level last season, Coleman averaged 19 points per game, nearly 5 rebounds, and almost 3 steals. That's a complete box score. At Peach Jam, against the best AAU talent in the country, he put up 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3.6 assists per game. Again, not empty scoring. He's contributing across the board. And when you dig into his efficiency, it's even more impressive. 43% on unguarded catch and shoot threes. 88% from the free throw line. That's top of the top shooting numbers. Illinois, look, we know the value of true shooters. We look at guys like Trent Frazier, Alfonso Plummer. Spacing changes everything for this offense. And Coleman profiles as someone who could bring that kind of gravity on day one. What else does he bring? Strengths. There's 4 key traits that I think I want to highlight here. Shooting. This seems to be his bread and butter. Deep range, quick release, consistency from both the arc and the stripe. In a Brad Underwood system where spacing and secondary guards who can knock down shots are vital, of course, you can see why Brad is interested in Coleman. Scoring versatility. He's not just a spot-up guy. He can attack closeouts. He's got a mid-range pull-up, and he finishes through traffic. That 3-level scoring profile is what keeps defenses honest. Rebounding and hustle. Here's something that Illinois fans absolutely should love. He's not just a finesse guard. He rebounds aggressively. Keep in mind, he's 6'3", 170 pounds. I'm going to get to that later. At that size, he's grabbing 5 rebounds a game in AAU ball. That tells you about the kind of motor he has, the kind of toughness he has. And we know how Brad really does value someone who can get you extra possessions. And let's also talk about the defense and intangibles. He's been described as a bulldog defender, competitive, scrappy, loves the challenge of taking on the other team's best guard. Again, not just about stats. Every scouting report highlights his will to win. And let's be real. Brad Underwood values toughness, defensive buy-in more than anything else. As for areas of improvement, the frame stands out. Again, 170 pounds, and quite honestly, I'm not even sure he's at that. He's definitely going to need Fletch's strength program in a very bad way to handle the physicality of the Big Ten Conference. But you know what? That's kind of normal for a high school junior. Decision-making is another area where he can sometimes force plays off the dribble, especially when defenses rotate. But that's fixable, especially in a system that emphasizes sharing the ball and making reads within structure. And this is where I think it gets interesting. Illinois doesn't need Coleman to come in and get 20 points a night. They need reliable shooters, high motor defenders, and guys who can complement a roster filled with what looks like going to be moving forward bigger wings and combo guards. Coleman's ability to play both on and off the ball makes him potentially very valuable and flexible. He can line up next to a true point guard or function as a secondary ball handler himself. His shooting creates floor spacing for slashing wings, and his rebounding and defense keeps him on the floor in tough games. And remember, Illinois has had plenty of success developing guards who weren't top 50 kids. Coleman is the type of player who could come in, carve out a role, and over 3 or 4 years become a huge piece of this program. So where do things stand? Coleman's still in the middle of this process. He's looking at visits this fall, possibly a commitment before his senior year. That means Illinois has to stay consistent here. Show him the development path, show him the opportunity, and sell him on the fit. The fact that Illinois is in his final 6 after just recently offering tells me 2 things. A, the staff identified him quickly after the breakout. And 2, he sees Illinois as a legitimate fit, not just an offer to pad the list. So final thoughts. Look, I get it. This is, yet again, not a 5-star headline grabber. This isn't Illinois battling Duke and Kansas for a top 10 player. But if you're paying attention, this is the type of recruitment that could win for a program in the long run. Coleman is a shooter, a defender, and it looks like a winner. And those are traits that translate at any level. If he keeps rising in the rankings, like I fully expect, the narrative around him is going to change quickly. Right now, Illinois has an opportunity to get in before the rest of the country catches up. Now, I know I've said that about the players in the past that we've been recruiting and getting commitments on, and maybe I'm wrong, but I truly do believe that. I think right now Brad is trying to be ahead of the curve when it comes to targeting some of these prep players. So while the excitement might not be there today, don't sleep on Quentin Coleman, because 2 years from now, If he's knocking down threes in orange and blue and scrapping for rebounds and helping Illinois win close Big Ten games, we're going to be looking back to this recruitment and say this was one of the smart, savvy moves by Brad Underwood and the staff. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Quentin. Are you getting worried yet that we're not recruiting the big shot guys? I'd love to know your thoughts. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data, visuals, get smart categorization for your spending, and finally, feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I linked all my accounts to Monarch and immediately spotted a couple subscriptions that I simply was not even using. Canceling those alone saved me some money every month. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. If you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you needed a service. If the first person didn't answer, did you wait? Probably not. You moved on. That's why you need Open Phone, so you never miss an opportunity to connect with your customers. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system designed to streamline and scale your customer communications. Do you juggle 2 phones just to keep business and personal calls separate? Open Phone solved that instantly. Your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more who's handling this. See why over 60,000 businesses trust Open Phone. They're offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedoncollege. That's openphone.com/lockedoncollege. They'll even port over your existing numbers for free. Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers. And welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be diving into another position group, and this time we're going to focus on the tight ends. I think this is one that might be a sneaky strength of the 2025 Illini football team. It's a group that's got size, versatility, and maybe the best depth that we've seen in Champaign. At the center of it all are 2 names that I think you are all going to be familiar with, and that's Tanner Arkin and Cole Rusk. But make no mistake, this isn't just a 2-man show. The Illini have low-key stacked this position, and it's going to have a big impact on how I think the offense is going to look this fall. First things first, under Brad Beal, my tight ends have always mattered. This isn't new. His Wisconsin teams leaned into guys like Travis Beckham, Lance Kendricks. His Arkansas squads featured Hunter Henry. Illinois hasn't had the same type of sustained production at the position in recent years, mostly because of injuries and roster turnover, but 2025 feels a little different. This year's tight end room gives the Illini something they haven't really had in a while, and that is options. You'll hear a lot about 12 personnel this year. That's 1 running back, 2 tight ends. Expect Illinois to use it and use it often. Why? Because it gives them the ability to smash defenses in the run game while creating mismatches in the passing attack. And when you've got a quarterback like Luke Altmaier, who needs reliable safety blankets, these tight ends are going to be invaluable. Let's start off with Cole Rusk, 6'5", 250-pound. He looks like he's a part of the Big Ten. The fans have been waiting to see him in action for over a year now. Remember, he transferred from Murray State before the 2024 season and immediately generated buzz. He was even on the John Mackey Award watch list, which is the award for the nation's best tight end. But then came the preseason knee injury that wiped out his entire year. Now he's back, he's fully healthy, and the buzz is building again. At Murray State, Russ put up 39 catches, over 500 yards, and 6 touchdowns in 2023. Those aren't fluky numbers. He's got soft hands, runs crisp routes, and maybe most importantly, he knows how to use his frame. He boxes out defenders in their red zone like a power forward going up for a rebound. For Luke Altmaier, that's gold. You've lost some valuable proven wideouts to the NFL. Having Rusk as a safety blanket on third downs, as a jump ball guy in the red zone, as someone who can separate from linebackers, that could make him one of the most targeted pass catchers on this entire roster. And if he really is back to form, quite honestly, he's got all Big Ten potential. Dare I say it, maybe even NFL buzz if he puts together a healthy, productive year. Now, if Rusk is the flashy name, Tanner Arkin is the glue guy. He transferred in from Colorado State before last season, and while his stat sheet isn't going to wow anybody, his value goes beyond the numbers. He's 6'4", 265 pounds. He's built like an extra offensive lineman, and quite honestly, Illinois uses him like one. What makes Arkin so important is his reliability. He's the kind of tight end who can seal the edge on an outside run, hold up against a defensive end in pass protection, and still sneak out into the flat for a catch when you need him. He's not going to rack up 40 catches, but he doesn't need to. His presence lets the Illini run their offense the way they want. Physical, downhill, and balanced. And let's not overlook leadership. Arkin is a veteran presence in the room, someone who sets the tone for the younger players and ensures the unit does the little things right. Every great position group has that unsung hero, and this year, Arkin fits that bill. Next up, we've got two names that add even more layers, David Stoffel and Kristen Abney. Stoffel is a fascinating one. He's a transfer from South Dakota State, and Illinois Illini fans know that program has been a tight end factory. 6'6", 260 pounds, and absolutely loves to block. You'll see him bring defensive ends and linebackers in the run game. He hasn't really shown much as a pass catcher yet in college, but in high school, he had over 1,000 yards and 17 touchdowns as a wide receiver. So the upside is there. If he finds his rhythm at this level, he could become a more complete tight end. Abney, meanwhile, is kind of raw. He started his career as a quarterback before switching to tight end at Ball State, and now he's here in Champaign. He's got size, he's got athleticism, and he's still learning the finer points of the position. But don't sleep on him. With 2 years left to play, he's the kind of developmental guy who might not pop right away, but by late this year or maybe next season, he could be a serious contributor. Behind those four, there's still depth. Jordan Anderson's going to flip back and forth, it seems like, between running back and tight end. Obviously, he brings size for those jumbo packages. And then you've got young guys like Logan Farrell, Jake Furtney, and Tanner Hollinger, Trey Peters, Grant Smith waiting in the wings. Most of them will cut their teeth on special teams, but the future pipeline, as I mentioned earlier, looks pretty strong. For a position that's been hit or miss in recent years, that's encouraging. So what does all of this mean for the Illini offense? Well, a couple big things. First, this tight end depth allows offensive coordinator Barry Lunney Jr. to get creative. With Rusk, Arkin, Stoffel, and Abney, you can roll out 12 personnel or even 13 personnel and keep defenses guessing. Are you running power behind a wall of blockers, or are you sneaking Rusk down the seam on play action? That's the kind of flexibility Illinois, quite honestly, just hasn't had in a while. Second, the red zone. Illinois struggled at times last year when the field shrank and the defenses could load up on the box. Now, you've got multiple 6'4" and taller tight end options with big catch radiuses. Throw it up high and let them go get it. That's going to help Altmaier tremendously. And third downs. Tight ends are quarterbacks' best friends in those situations. Expect Altmaier to look for Rusk on 3rd and 6, or Arkin or Stoffel on 3rd and 2, and for Abney as a sneaky option. If this room stays healthy, Illinois might actually turn one of last year's offensive weaknesses into a strength. So to wrap it up, Illinois' tight end room in 2025, quite honestly, does have it all. A potential star in Cole Rusk, a rock-solid veteran in Tanner Arkin, a physical mauler with upside in Stoffel, a raw but athletic developmental guy in Christian Abney, and plenty of depth behind them. This is as deep, as versatile, as promising a tight end group Illinois has had in years. And in a conference like the Big Ten, where physicality rules the day, having this kind of unit could be a potential difference maker. If, of course, if these guys stay healthy. Don't be surprised if we're looking back in November and saying, yeah, it's the tight ends that ended up being one of the pleasant surprises of this offense. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and college football isn't far behind. Whether you've got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. If you've been watching the Chicago Bears like I have, I can't help but get excited about that wide receiver trio. Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Luther Burden Jr. Those are the guys I've got my eyes on. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. The flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you can still double your money. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. Pick your game. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So take a flyer on the MVP race. Caleb Williams, I see you. Crown your champion in August. That's right. Super Bears, Super Bowls. Or parlay your division winner, dark horses. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. And welcome back. If you haven't already, make sure you've hit the like button on this video, because if you haven't, why not? You're already about 25 minutes in. Obviously, you're enjoying the content. At this point, the way YouTube works, sometimes you may not even realize that you're not subscribed to this channel. It's my goal to get about 100 more subscribers before we kick off next week against Western Illinois. That's right, just next week. Next Friday night, Illinois will kick off their football season. I can't wait. And oh, by the way, if you're a student looking to get season tickets, well, bad luck on you. You should have gotten them earlier, because the Illini football team announced that 8,000 student tickets have sold out. There's no denying that the energy around this fan base, whether it comes from the alums, whether it comes from the student fan base, the energy is high. There's a lot of high expectations for this football team. And it's just a simple matter of whether this football team can take care of business on the field. And, if there's anyone I can trust with taking care of business on the field, I feel like it is Brad Beal Elite. Which, by the way, next week, probably on Monday's episode, I'm going to be doing my game-by-game breakdown and make my official predictions on what I think the Illini final record is going to be this season. So what I want is your predictions? You let me know over the next couple of days. Drop it in the comments, DM it to me on the social medias, or email it me at talkillini@gmail.com. I want to hear your final predictions for the record for this upcoming season. I'm going back and forth. I'll elaborate on my thoughts on Monday's episode. I also did want to mention that 2028 wing Cole Kelly of Neuqua Valley, I'm a Neuqua Valley grad myself, so go Wildcats, will take an unofficial visit to Illinois on September 27th. He's a kid who I absolutely really do like. Of course, him being at the same high school that I went to creates a little extra affinity for me. But I'll break down his game also as we get closer to September and give you a glimpse of what I think could be a potential star for the Illini down the road. Before I wrap things up here today, I did want to take a second and just give a special thank you to Lon Tay of The Drive. He decided he's retiring and he's no longer going to be having what I considered a staple of the Champaign area when it comes to radio. He's worked with Derek Piper, he's worked with Jeremy Warner, and quite honestly, he's someone who I'd been listening to years to keep up with my Illini content, even when I moved away and was no longer in the area. He was that local source for me for so incredibly long. And so I just want to give a special thank you to Lon. And who knows, maybe at some point in the future, if he gets that itch again, I'll bring him on right here as a guest on Locked on Illini. By the way, I do have a special announcement I'm going to be making sooner rather than later. If you want to know what that announcement is, either A, join the Discord, the link should be in the description, or follow Talk Illini on X or whatever your favorite social media is. I think I got a project that a lot of you guys are going to really like and enjoy. I just need to get some T's crossed and I's dotted before I can announce it, but definitely stay tuned. I think I got some big news coming for you, Illini fans. That's going to just about wrap it up for today. Again, we've got so much content for you. I still have more position groups. I know season caught up to me way faster than I imagined, but this is going to be and maintain to be your one-stop shop when it comes to Illini content. That much I promise you guys. So make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends. More content on the way. Until next time, ILL. Love you guys.